it's Alexis. Welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna be reading the essays that got me into UCLA. This video is gonna be a little different because I'm literally just gonna be reading to you my essays. So this is purely for the people who want to listen and want some kind of inspiration or just want to listen to my stories that I wrote. So let's get into it. I'm going to be reading them off of my phone, which is in its charger. So I'm going to be looking down. These are for my personal insight questions for the UC application. They give you 8 questions that you can answer, but you're only supposed to choose 4 of the best ones that you think you can answer to your ability. And so this is my first question that I chose. Every person has a creative side, and it can be expressed in many ways. Problem solving, original and innovative thinking, and artistically, to name a few. Describe how you express your creative side. So I read that and I was like, alright, I think I can do this. Creativity radiates through me, flowing through my fingertips into everything I do. I grew up in an artistic environment, surrounded by open paint cans, half-finished easels. I read it wrong. Surrounded by open paint cans and half-finished easels. My grandma, a high school art teacher, stuck a paintbrush in my hand when I was born, or at least that is what she says. Although painting intrigued me, I was not fully interested in it as a passion to pursue in the future. Magazine clippings of random items littered the floor, the smell of paint sticking on the walls as I aged. I used to pick up these clippings and create collages to entertain myself, obsessing over the randomness but interconnection of the tattered magazine. As I grew older, I began to rescue these magazines before they were torn and reconstructed. Stashed under my bed, only taken out to look at before I fell asleep, my eyes secretly gorged over the colors, textures, and designs of the fabric on the sleek page. Fashion magazines became my addiction. The amount of creative expression a piece of fabric can hold amazed me. The way one article of clothing can express someone in different ways is something only art can do. I fell in love with the art of fashion. As I got into high school, I learned how to express myself through my clothing. I dressed to my feelings, experimenting with different textures and accessories. I constantly searched through fashion magazines and websites, analyzing trends and coming up with new outfit ideas. I created a news segment called Fashion Flash, a show that reviews trends and interviews people on their style. That airs twice a month on our school's news network. I recently purchased a sewing machine to have another extension to express my personality through art. I am teaching myself every maneuver in order to feed my addiction. I crave to pursue the art of fashion more extensively and create works of art that can aid people in their own journey of self-expression. So that was my first one. That was pretty good actually. Rereading these, I'm like, dang girl. Brain juices were flowing, I'm telling you. Let's move on to the second one. What would you say is your greatest skill or talent? How have you developed and demonstrated that talent over time? And here is my essay response. In 8th grade, I worked harder than I ever had. My coursework was heavy and my new teacher was a previous college professor. She didn't see her class as 8th graders, but rather a class of international college students. The work was insanely challenging. In the moments of studying for grueling exams and finishing detailed term papers, I would agree with my peers that this workload was too hard. But deep down, I loved it. I enjoyed the pressure of the heavy workload. I loved the feeling of learning, pushing myself academically farther than I ever had. I just realized there's a typo on this. It says father. Well, there you go. Typos don't make or break you. Farther than I ever had. It made me feel proud, knowing that I could challenge myself. I finished 8th grade with the highest GPA in the class. In high school, the drive was still present and I ached to learn more. I challenged myself in everything I could, taking courses that kept me up so late I needed an IV of Starbucks cold brew in my vein. You notice a lighting change? It's a different time of the day, so. That is my joke. If you watched my How I Got Into UCLA video and then click to the essay portion, I mentioned this in my essay's advice that this joke helped express my personality a lot, I think, and it was relatable. One memory I remember specifically is in my sophomore year of business class. We were on the dreaded topic of public speaking. In my sophomore year, I was a quiet individual. Public speaking was not something I considered my strong suit, and the idea of that scared me. But once again, the personal drive to push my limits mentally and physically spread throughout my body like a wildfire. We were assigned to present about a company of our choice. I prepared one of the best presentations in my life and memorized every single word. Presenting felt easy, and my body was buzzing from my preparation. I was ecstatic and proud when I finished. The day of presentations went amazing. After that day, my idea of personal speaking changed, and I now love to speak to new people and speak publicly. My hunger for knowledge will always be present, and my drive to pursue is my greatest skill. Yeah. So that was my second essay.
That was pretty good.
Now let's move on to the third essay question that I chose. So I chose to answer this question. What have you done to make your school or your community a better place? My community is a tight-knit cluster of unique individuals. Art encompasses the theme of the city of Palm Springs, California. My grandpa was an artistic influencer in the city, being one of the many architects in the community. His art inspires many people, including myself. I wanted to participate in a similar way to help artistically influence others. Sophomore year of high school, I received a forwarded message about a teen docent opportunity at the Art Museum of Palm Springs. The Palm Springs Art Museum is known for being amazingly widespread in the forms of artwork and a breeding place for imaginative design. I applied online, interviewed, and got the position. There was a summer training at the museum for all the teen docents where we learned about the different forms of art and went deeper into the analyzation of physical creativity. The tours were to be given to elementary school children in the community that were on field trips. I love talking to children and having an educational opportunity to communicate and learn with them. The tours were amazing, filled with children that made me giggle from their peculiar questions and pause in awe of the intelligence I saw at such a young age. My questions to the children allowed for me to see the processing of information in their head, the gleam of interest and knowledge filtering through their minds. I left the museum after every tour feeling light. It felt indescribable to know. What did I say? It felt indescribable to know that I was helping to both sow and grow a seed of artistic thinking into the young, ever-changing minds of our future generation. One child, completely entranced with every detail and texture, said to me after the tour that he wants to be an artist when he's older because he loved the things he saw around the museum. I was making a difference in the lives of children in our community. I knew then that this opportunity was a blessing and that sowing creativity among the future generation was my passion. So that is the third one. Definitely really loved that opportunity to be a teen docent. I wish it would have lasted longer. It was only like a 6-month opportunity, but it was really, really cool. Now it's time for the fourth and the last question that I chose. And I chose, this was the fourth question. Beyond what has already been shared in your application, what do you believe makes you stand out as a strong candidate for admissions to the University of California? Whew. That's a big question. Okay, let's get into it. This is what I wrote for the fourth essay. My open-mindedness and amiability are the most noticeable factors of my personality. If I were asked to describe my personality in one word, I'd say, wholehearted. Growing up, I learned how to be self-driven and self-sufficient. Taking example from my mother, I was driven by curiosity to converse with people, no matter their opinions. Although I wouldn't always agree with people, I was able to hear their views. It was interesting to me to hear how complex the human mind is. I took in the world as I saw it, developing my own mindset. I believe that this sets me apart from other students due to my neutral attitude towards controversial topics. As I grew in my speaking abilities, I grew in my ability to see things from others' point of view. I felt the hurt and pain in my mother's eyes when she went through heartbreak. I felt the joy of success after countless years of hard work in my friend. I experienced the air of grief at a family member's funeral and saw the despair in my grandmother's face. Feeling these emotions, a fire of empathy and action erupted in me. I ached to spread happiness to my mother and grandmother. I embraced the feeling of joy around me. I took it all in with open arms and made a mission to only put out happiness and positivity. I believe that sadness is a critical part of life, but I believe in the power of experiencing emotions with true people by your side. Experiencing life in college at UCLA would expose me to new events, both good and bad, and allow me to touch others. I believe that I can be a person in college set apart from other individuals who people can feel comfortable coming up to for anything. Okay, this part, I screenshotted these, and this part's kind of blacked out, so I'm gonna struggle to read real quick. I want to be the person in college that changes people's perspectives and creates a positive impact in the lives of the students on campus. So that was my last essay. I know this was kind of a shorter video, a more different video than what I normally make. I just thought because school is coming up and I definitely know some seniors, some juniors want to get ready for applying to college, and if they need any essay help, that this could serve as an example or just give you some inspiration. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me rating my essays. Honestly, if you guys have any questions, if you need me to proofread or just look at it, have me read it, I would love to. Just direct message me on Instagram. I will promise I'll respond. So if you need any help, any advice with high school or college, just let me know. Leave a like, comment. I love reading your comments. We're on the road to 100. I have set a goal to get it to 100 subscribers this month of August. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Love you. Bye.